It is a pleasure to welcome you to the Rethink Protein Challenge 2. And we're going to have a great day today. We're going to show you videos. We're going to talk to experts. And we also have an expert in the studio. But we're going to start with a presentation of last edition's winner, Edgar.
Hello, I'm Edgar. Very happy to be here with you. So I am originally from Colombia, and I finalized a PhD here in Wageningen in the area of bioprocess engineering. And actually for a few years, I've been working actively in the area of biorefineries and valorization of waste streams. And in 2019, I was the co-founder of Fumi Ingredients. So in Fumi Ingredients, we are developing the next generation platform for the transformation of microbial biomass into functional ingredients. What is really Fumi Ingredients about? So we start with microbial biomass, we apply our process, and we produce a range of ingredients with functional activity, specifically in the upper section of this value pyramid that you see. So we are specifically targeting the food segment, but of course other areas are also into consideration. Of course, these ingredients are animal-free, but also we are not talking about the typical plant-based ingredient. It's not an ingredient that we derive from crops or similar. It's not an ingredient that is produced under genetically modified processes or organisms. And it's not the usual microbial extract or protein isolate or single-cell protein or whole biomass. It's something really unique. So we worked already since 2019 on the technology, but also on the applications. And now we are at the stage in which we have proven the technology at 1 ton scale. We have demonstrated the applications and the functionality for various products in the food segment, specifically bakery and meat analogs, but also others. And we are currently working actively into further scale up and further applications. But of course, this is not a work that we are only doing together. Since 2019 that we started this journey with Fumi Ingredients, now we are a team of 5 people, including food scientist, biotechnology, process engineer, and of course our roles are CTO and CEO. But how it all started? So it all started from my PhD here at Wageningen. From 2015 to 2019, I was working in the area of microalgae biorefineries. And just by the end of my PhD, I heard about the Rethink Protein Challenge. And myself, along with my supervisor, we were working on innovative ideas to use what we have learned during my PhD to apply it in a possible business opportunity. So I decided to bring some of the ideas I learned during my PhD, some other ideas I had in mind, within something called ALFI. ALFI was the idea that I presented in the Protein Challenge. And ALGI stands for algae-based ingredients for food applications. So we participated in the challenge, but also at the same time and after finalizing my PhD, I joined the Accelerate program of StarLife. So we were working on how to become an entrepreneur, to learn about the finances, to learn about the market, to learn about investments. So I did this work in parallel, joining the Protein Challenge, but as well learning a lot from the Accelerate program of StarLife. Finally, in August 2019, we established Fumi Ingredients. And Fumi Ingredients was ALFI, but now expanded, not only to include algae as ingredient, but also other sorts of microbial biomass, like yeast, fungi, and bacteria. But my experience during the Rethink Protein Challenge and with ALFI was remarkable. And I would like to share a couple of learnings that I had from that experience. The first one was the amazing ideas that the students can bring to the contest. It's really interesting to see all the creativity that all the students bring. The second one was all the energy and enthusiasm that you see from all the students. And of course, this perseverance to make things right, to learn, to really improve their ideas. The third one is the eagerness to make an impact. Everybody really wants to have an impact Everybody wants to really solve the protein challenge. Everybody wants to contribute decisively to the sustainability element. But finally, I also had a lot of fun. That perhaps was the most important. With the fellow students also to share different experiences, not only thinking about the protein challenge, but everybody's story and everybody's life. That was quite important. So I would invite everybody to participate, to bring your own ideas. And one piece of advice perhaps is, do not miss the chance to be creative and to have some fun, to learn. And don't be afraid to make mistakes, because you will learn anyways. Thank you very much. And of course, if you want to reach me, my contact details, we'll be happy to get in touch.
That was a great presentation, Edgar, and thank you for your inspiration. I still have some questions for you because we want to know, how are you doing with your startup?
Thanks a lot, Sabine. So right now it's almost 2 years since I started from the very first concept, and now we are in the process of scaling up. So back then we were trying to produce a couple of grams of the product. Now we are in the phase where we can make around 10 kilos, 20 kilos, and we would like to continue scaling up in the next months and years. Because of legislation and because of the scale up and because this is a new ingredient, we expect that we can be in the market in about 2 years' time.
And how is the market for this kind of products at the moment?
To be honest with you, it's actually a tsunami of interest. The whole alternative protein environment is really densely populated by companies trying to replace their traditional food products. We see interest from meat companies, but also for bakery companies, confectionery products, beverage, dairy, you name it. So the interest is great, and pretty much all the companies really want to get into the wave of alternative proteins.
Edgar, please tell me, what does it take to make an entrepreneur from a researcher? And was it a tough journey for you?
It was not very difficult in the sense that let's say I just gave it a go. I wanted to see if I managed to take my idea from research into practice. But it takes a lot of patience and resilience. You see that many times you will fail. You just have to wake up the next morning and try it again. You will see that it's not very easy to convince people, so you have to keep on trying. You will see that you have to iterate many times. And if you are patient enough and you have enough commitment, you will get there.
Okay, and my last question, what do you think that will be the biggest opportunity or challenge to the protein transition?
So the biggest challenge right now is in what is called cultivated meat. So meat that is grown in the lab. And this is because of scale up and cost reasons. So I think there is great challenges that need to be solved. And on the other side, proteins that are produced by means of genetic modification, so fermentation technology. I think it's still an expensive technology, although the technology is it's really good. I think the two spaces there. Insects are also coming up quite rapidly and the great scale up in cost, but maybe consumer acceptance could be a challenge. So let's say every group of proteins have their own challenges, but they are working actively to solve it.
Okay, Edgar, thank you very much for your time, and I wish you all the best and good luck with your project.
Right, thanks a lot, Sabine, and for the questions, and I hope everybody has a great time today.
So what we're going to do now is show you a video in which Marta and Rio from WUR will explain all the details about this challenge. So pay good attention because you need to see all of this.
Welcome to the kickoff of the second edition of our Rethink Protein Challenge. I'm happy you're all here and interested in joining this competition. My name is Rio, and me and my colleague Marta are organizing this particular challenge, and we'll tell you a little bit more what's ahead of you. First of all, what is your assignment? We challenge you to come up with a solution, a business plan, an innovation, a prototype to provide sustainable, healthy and affordable protein for a growing world population. That's a very wide open assignment, and coming up with the ideas and innovations for that is up to you. So we challenge you to come up with, with something new, and I will tell you a little bit more about what we expect from your solution. So what you have to keep in mind, the most important aspects of this challenge. You have to come up with a solution, a prototype, a business idea for a specific market. So not a general idea that maybe be implemented worldwide. No, focus on a specific area, region, a specific market, a specific target group. The second thing to take into account is the sustainability of your solution. So what you need to do is to compare the sustainability of your solution with that of alternative solutions for the same issue or problem or market that you try to tackle. So make sure you check out that market and compare your solution to that of others. And, well, maybe needless to say, but it also needs to be unique. Make sure you come up with something that's new and innovative. The more unique and innovative, the bigger chance that you'll make it to the finals.
Thank you, Rio. I am Marta, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the challenge timeline. So this challenge has 3 rounds, and each of them ends with the selection round. The first round starts right now, and you have 1.5 months to develop your idea. At the end of this round, we ask you to deliver a milestone report, and based on this report, we'll select top 30 teams that will go to the second round. In the second round, the real fun starts. We then provide you communication, a business model, and pitch training. You also get to know our coaches, and this round ends with the big second milestone report where you present your whole idea. The 12 best teams get to the finals, and on 26th of June, we'll hear your pitches and select the winners of the challenge. So here you can see the overview of what are you working towards. You can find more information in our handbook with all the requirements. So this is the challenge handbook, your reference book for the entire duration of the challenge. Check it anytime you have questions about challenge, because we have put all the information here. You can find there the templates for the milestone reports, information about property rights, explanation about selection process, and so on. It's on the online platform, anytime available to your disposal. The online platform is your gate to the challenge. This is where you interact with the coaches, upload your reports, but you can also find here different documents. So now I'm going to show you the most important part of the platform, which is the competition part. As you can see here, this is where you provide the information about the members of your team, provide the information about your team, upload different videos related to your project, and also upload your reports and get in touch with the coaches. For now, you really need to focus on this specific part of the platform. So before 17th of January, we ask you to fill in all the information about your team. So upload your logo, team photo, the names of the team members, as well as information about your first idea. Throughout the challenge, you can add or remove team members, but for the moment, we really ask you to already team up. An important part of this challenge is coaching. We have gathered a number of excellent experts in the field of protein to your disposal who want to coach you. You can contact them via chat function, and also there are specific moments where you interact with them in a speed date setting. So my advice for the entire challenge is make use of this opportunity to get in touch with those amazing experts. Don't be shy, ask questions, and network as much as possible. Throughout the challenge, we are also going to provide a number of trainings and webinars. I have already mentioned some of them. So what is ahead of you is communication training, business model, canvas training, and pitch training. Those trainings are not obligatory, but we really recommend you to attend them. It will really enhance your learning experience. Further, monthly we are organizing webinars where you can get to know different aspects related to protein transition. Okay, so that's it from us. We wish you a great learning experience in the second edition of the Rethink Protein Challenge. Everybody, good luck, and we are looking forward.
Marta and Rio, thank you very much for your presentation. And we've received a lot of questions from participants. I would like to ask you them. Rio, can I ask you the first question? Are there any restrictions regarding to the team composition?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's not many restrictions to the teams that can participate. You have to be a minimum of 2, but there's no maximum. You can have bachelor, master, and PhD students in your team, but the number of PhD students is limited to a maximum of 50%.
Marta, second question. What is the role of the partners in the challenge?
Yes, partners play a very important role in our challenge. The representatives of the partners are the coaches, so the people who are the source of inspiration and knowledge for you. Via the platform, you can get in contact with them, ask them different questions, and expect answers. We also have some speed dating moments. That's when you will have more one-to-one contact with them, and you can ask them as many questions as possible. So my advice is go through the list of our partners, make connections, and make use of it. It's also perhaps a possibility for you to make your next career step.
Can I approach other experts for help?
Yes, definitely. You are very welcome to approach experts and coaches from outside our network. What we offered is just a start point, and your entrepreneurship and active spirit is where it will take you. So go ahead.
Rio, what does the selection process look like?
The selection process consists of different stages. For the first selection moment, you will have to submit a report by the end of February, and the second selection moment will be at the end of May. You can find the exact date and all the details in the handbook, so make sure that you have a good look at that. The things that you will have to submit, the report that you have to submit on those moments will be assessed by our selection committee. And the selection committee is made up of partners, so experts about the protein transition. Then at the end of the challenge, during the finale on 25th of June, you will meet the jury. The jury is also made up of people from our partner network. And you will then have to also pitch for the jury. You will have to answer some questions that they will ask you. And the jury will also have a look at your second submission. The points that you can get for your report is 40, for your pitch is 5, and the way you answer the questions of the jury is also 5. So a total of 50. But then again, check out the handbook because you will find all the details there.
I've got also a question about the IP rights. Which one of you would like to? Rio as well? Yeah. How are the IP rights organized?
Well, first of all, I would like to highlight that we've developed this challenge as an exciting learning experience. So most of all, you will learn an amazing amount about proteins, about the protein transition, about what it takes to develop a new product or a new technology, for example, and also a lot about yourself. So nearly everything you do, you post, you share with us, you upload on our platform will be public. Nevertheless, the IP rights are yours. So if, and I think that will be an exceptional case, if a team decides that it might have a chance to patent their innovation, then make sure that you get some advice. Also, keep in mind that almost everything you send to us is public. There's a small exception, and that is the second milestone report that you submit by the end of May. Also, the coaches that will see those reports, they will have to sign a confidentiality agreement. So that part will be kept confidential. But if you decide to go for a patent or apply for a patent, make sure that you don't send out, post, or upload any information that is not supposed to be public. Let me check if I forgot anything. Yeah, maybe good to know that it's not easy to get a patent or to bring an innovation to market. So before you start, make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into, and most of all, enjoy the learning that you do through this challenge.
That's clear. And we selected the last question. Are the challenge's deadlines hard?
We have organized this challenge in a very flexible way. There are many optional program parts, such as trainings and webinars. You can decide whether you want or don't want to participate. But the deadlines and the templates of the submissions are hard, which means that we really disqualify the teams that submit their entries too late or in wrong format. So to prevent any disappointment, we want to say it now. Just make sure that you know them by heart and that you have checked the requirements in the handbook and follow it.
Thank you, Marta. That was very loud and clear. You just told us how important the partners are. And I want to show you a video in which a lot of our partners will introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Liz Kameh from Fuji Europe Africa. We're part of the Fuji Oil Group. Fuji Oil is an ingredient manufacturer with strengths in plant protein, particularly soy protein, and vegetable fats. And we combine these to produce plant-based food solutions to solve society's challenges. Why are we interested in Rethink Protein, the Student Challenge? Well, we think it's a good fit with our philosophy of working for people and solving the challenges of society. And what do we expect from it? Well, we joined last time and we were really impressed by the enthusiasm and inspiration of the students. And that's what we hope this time, that you will continue to be enthusiastic, come up with great ideas. After all, you're going to be the game changers, the people who change the food system in our future world. Thank you.
Hello, my name is André Potts. I look after foods, product and process, science and technology. Unilever is on a mission to achieve 1 billion turnover on plant-based products in the next 5 to 7 years. The challenge to achieve that is huge. We need plant-based meat that is as tasty, juicy and nutritious as conventional meat. From the Rethink Protein Challenge, we're looking for innovative ideas that help us to find new protein sources, plants, but maybe also algae or yeast, but also new processing technologies that help us to get better products. All in all, we need your help. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I am Yvette Muskens from Dalco Food and I'm a technical sales manager. Dalco Food is a specialist in the production and co-creation of vegetarian and vegan products, from meal components, ingredients, up to finger foods. Dalco started as a meat company 45 years ago and we have been rethinking protein ever since. Today we are meat-free and Dalco is always curious to look into new proteins, likes to get inspired and to assist students all over the world. From this challenge we are looking for inspiration and new perspectives on the use of proteins and to explore these routes together with the students. We are looking forward to join you in a Rethink Protein Challenge. Good luck everybody!
Dear ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sergei Smetar and I'm from DIL, German Institute of Food Technologies, where we do a lot of research on new food systems, on alternative foods, alternative protein sources, and that's why for us it's very important to to get involved in Wageningen Protein Challenge, and that's why we hope to get inspired by your ideas from one side. On another side, we hope to inspire you and support those young brilliant minds which will appear there. So we wish you good luck and hope to see nice ideas.
Hello, my name is Jetse Kempenaar and I'm CEO of Farmel Dairy Products in the Netherlands. We trade dairy all over the world. Our slogan is, we're moved by milk. We're moving milk, but the world around us is also always moving. This is particularly the case when we talk about protein. There's a lot going on about production and things about protein. That's why we want to join this challenge. We want to have new insights, inspirations and ideas from the students, and in reverse, we will share our knowledge. So I'm looking forward to the protein challenge. Thank you.
My name is Joost Vliegen, Managing Director of GEA in the Netherlands. As a worldwide operating technology company, GEA contributes every day to sustainable food production with different processing technologies for our food producing customers. GEA is an innovative company where we always look for new creative ideas to improve our products. This is what we call engineering for a better world, our mission. Engagement of young, talented people like you is crucial then. This is also why I am so delighted to participate in this Rethink Protein Challenge. You can make use of my 24 years of experience in the food industry and GEA's technology centers. Please do so.
Hello participants of the Wageningen University Student Challenge 2021. On behalf of the Wageningen ambassadors, I'd like to share this short video with you. The challenges offer a unique opportunity to contribute to the position of Wageningen University on strategic themes and meet the most creative and entrepreneurial students. Wageningen ambassadors will play a crucial role in empowering and coaching top talent. The goals of the student challenges, educating top talent and enhancing entrepreneurial skills, are closely aligned with the interest, expertise and roles of the Wageningen ambassadors. My name is Henk Wiemega and I will participate as a coach in the next challenges for 2021 together with some of the other ambassadors. I look very much forward in seeing you. Bye bye.
Hi, my name is Jasper Kooijmans and I'm looking forward to work with you on redefining the way we eat our proteins. We are depleting the planet of natural resources and polluting our environment in such a rapid pace with the production of animal protein that something needs to be done. I have a lot of experience as a business leader at companies such as Douwe Egberts, Kraft Heinz, Arla, Syngenta and Brandt & Levy, that I can really help you make strong and solid business cases to get that economic scale that we need to make to have an economic impact. So I wish you a lot of success and a lot of ingenuity.
My name is Niklas Schouten. Our family business, Schouten Europe, was in 1990 the first Dutch company to start with plant-based protein products, so meat substitutes. Nowadays, 30 years later, we supply our products to more than 50 countries worldwide. And innovation is still at the core of our company and very important for us. We're very happy and excited to be part of the Rethink Protein Challenge. We're really looking forward to hear about the innovative ideas that you will bring. And we're really excited to work together and to see, okay, how can we translate these ideas into good concepts and also bring this to the market.
Hello, my name is Fusine Verloop and I'm Director of the University Fund Wageningen. At the University Fund, our mission is to contribute to the prosperity of Wageningen University with the help and contributions from our alumni and friends. We're very happy to contribute to the Student Challenge again this year for the third time, because we're convinced that this is a unique opportunity for students to learn new skills and to bring their knowledge into practice. Also, we know that our donors like to support a new generation of students to make the most of their time at WUR, and the Student Challenge perfectly fits the bill. Good luck to all the participants from UFV.
Hi, I'm Liz Specht, Director of Science and Technology at the Good Food Institute. We're an international nonprofit working with scientists, businesses, and policymakers to build a healthier, more sustainable food system by transforming meat production. It's always inspiring to work with students in this space to hear their fresh ideas about addressing these long-standing challenges. We're so excited to be involved with Rethink Protein. The science here is clear. We can't tackle the climate emergency or feed the world's growing population without changing the way we produce meat, eggs, dairy, and seafood. We can't wait to hear your ideas for building a sustainable food future, and we're looking forward to working with you to make them a reality.
Hi there, my name is Peter Roosink. I'm a food technologist and management trainee at the Innovation Department of Royal Cozen. Royal Cozen is a cooperative of Dutch sugar beet farmers owning several agri-food businesses. You might be familiar with our companies like Avico, the Cozen Beet Company, Census, SVZ or Dyna Group, since they're all involved in businesses worldwide. At Cozen we believe that the plant is our hero and we work towards a plant-based future that is 100% transparent, circular and plant-based. Doing so, we want to become a significant player in the plant-based protein transition. During this Rethink Protein Challenge, your ideas combined with our experience and facilities should be the birthplace of good new innovations. So we're looking very much forward to that. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sander van Pelt, Manager Process Technology at the Bioprocess Pilot Facility. The Bioprocess Pilot Facility, BPF in short, is a multi-purpose pilot facility which together with Planet Bio is part of the Biotech Campus in Delft. Our pilot houses extensive equipment for biomass pretreatment, hydrolysis, downstream processing and also has a dedicated food grade plant. The BPF motto is, we know how to make your process work at scale. We at the BPF think that rethinking our protein is one of the big pillars supporting a sustainable future for our planet and are very happy to contribute to making this transition happen. We wish for all the participants to have a challenge full of creativity and excitement, and who knows, we might be able to welcome you to our food grade pilot facility in the future. Good luck!
This was a selection of our partners. In the next part of the show, I will discuss the protein transition with our partners online. I'm going to do that together with Stacey Pyatt, and we present the Protein Shift series.
Protein transition, you have really a shift from a more animal-based diet into a more plant-based diet.
That's a difficult question because I'm not really sure if we can really distinguish a protein transition or an energy transition.
As a consumer, the protein transition is something you can directly have influence on.
We all know what energy transition means. There are talks about it in politics and in the media. And we've been benefiting from various programs stimulating transition to more sustainable energy sources. Like, for example, solar panels and electric cars. And Stacey, how do you define the protein transition? What is it actually?
Yeah, great question. So when we talk about the protein transition, we're actually talking about a shift in two things. One on the consumption side, so returning to a more balanced diet, especially here in Western Europe, as in many other wealthy countries, we see that we've gotten a little bit out of balance and we're over-consuming on the animal side. So getting our diets back in balance, but also on the production side, on the way we are producing and using and growing our proteins, we think there's a lot of room to improve to become more sustainable.
And you find it's very important for our well-being and the planet, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are more drivers for a protein transition, but I think I'll stick to two today. So one that's very important, what I already hinted at, is the sustainability picture. If we want to achieve our sustainable development goals and we want to reduce the greenhouse gas footprint of our food systems, looking at protein is a very important lens to be able to make that reduction, and changing the way we produce proteins can have a tremendous impact. On the other hand, when we look at sort of equitability, the way we're sharing our food, we can see that there's also an increasing demand for proteins. We forecast a 30 to 50% growth in demand for proteins through 2050. And right now we see there's a coexistence of overconsumption in some regions of the world and a scarcity in others. So there's definitely a need to sort of address that by the way we are producing and sharing our proteins.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to introduce our partners because we're going to discuss with them some statements. Here with me today online we have Liz Specht and Jos Meulwijk. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi Liz, hi Jos. Liz, can you please introduce yourself and your company?
Absolutely. I'm the Director of Science and Technology at the Good Food Institute, which is a nonprofit organization that works with policymakers, industry leaders, and also research scientists to accelerate the field of alternative proteins.
Thank you very much. And Jos?
Yeah, hi, Jos Meulwijk. I'm a Category Director for Savory Foods for IFF. And IFF is one of the leading producers and creators of taste ingredients for the food and beverage industry. Well established, long established. And we have been active in plant-based products for more than a decade.
Okay, thank you very much. And we have asked our experts from the Wageningen University to react to some statements, and I would like you to react to the statement as well. The statement was, or is, protein transition is as urgent as and more achievable than the energy transition. Liz, would you go first?
Absolutely. I think that's 100% correct. We've seen tremendous federal, national level investment into alternative energy to bring technologies like solar and wind power from concepts several decades ago to now very affordable solutions to the climate crisis that we're facing. We need that same level of investment, or probably much less than that, to have the same degree of impact on the food side. This is a really tractable area. There's been very little investment so far into alternative protein research, and a lot of a relatively small amount of federal support or national support could really go a long way from an R&D perspective.
Stacey, you're yes?
Yeah, I'm nodding my head.
Yeah.
I think different parts of the world are moving at different paces there, but you see that the places where we have that kind of federal policy support behind it, that the transition is moving faster. I agree completely.
And Jos, do you agree as well?
Well, I think there is also an increasing pull from other investors outside of the federal investment, from private companies, from private investors into the whole segment, that's driving a lot of this change. And there is a growing interest from the consumers who are going to pull this transition through. So I think that's also a main element to take into account, and that is something that we as an industry, as a complete chain, should put much more attention to how can we attract the consumer pool, because and that is, I think, one of the bigger differences for the energy transition is that consumers will make it work for food, right? And that is something that we want to envisage.
And how do you do that?
I think by improving products, by making it more affordable, by telling the story of alternative proteins better than what we do now. And I don't want to say that it should be 100% shift. I think there should be a balance between animal protein and vegetable protein. But I think we need much more and better communication about what it means for us, what the impact is of plant-based proteins for consumers.
Listen, Jos, we've asked two experts of the Wageningen University, Louisa and Sander, to react to the same statements. And now we're going to look at their answers. And I would like you to reply on those answers.
Yeah.
I believe that both the protein as well as the energy transition are both urgent, and they both require deep changes in our supply chain. They also require an inclusive approach where we address the whole production chain. In the protein transition, you have really a shift from a more animal-based diet into a more plant-based diet. While in the energy transition, you have a shift from fossil into more renewable and sustainable resources. I am not sure whether which one will reach quicker the transition. But while in the energy transition we have started earlier, in the protein transition we have less players in the supply chain.
As a consumer, the protein transition is something you can directly have influence on. If you have a power plug in the wall for electricity, you don't know what type of electricity that is being used for that. But the protein you put in your mouth, that is the one that you can change directly.
Our experts seem to point out, although that energy and protein transition have many similarities, that later one is easier to achieve than the other because of there are less players in the chain. What do you think about it?
I think I agree that there's been a really long track record of public government investment into alternative energy, and that's what's brought the sector and technologies like solar and wind to the point that they are commercially attractive and now can garner private investment. We've seen in alternative proteins that there is already some commercial traction and more of it every year on the private investment front. But there is also still room for open access public research funding to really build that foundation of knowledge and continue to make this attractive area for continued investment that is really being driven by that consumer lens here.
Okay, and Jos?
I think we should not underestimate how many players in the chain are involved in plant-based products. From ingredient suppliers, from producers of the plant-based protein, of the manufacturers of the textured product to the food manufacturer. So there are a lot of elements in the chain. But there is a major difference is that plant-based proteins and proteins are obviously making a bigger growth and a quicker growth because consumers are much more involved. They can pull it through. Right. So, and that is, I think, a major difference for energy, because I don't really think that a consumer is really as intrigued as in plant-based products with who is the supplier, where the electricity and where the fuel is coming from. It is much more behind them or in the chain where that difference is going to be made. Where for plant-based products, the consumers are in charge, because if we don't offer them a good product, they won't buy. So the more products are tailored to their cultural fit, to their food behavior, to everything that fits with their consumption pattern, the more it will be accepted, and the quicker the transition will take place.
So you see more opportunities for protein transition?
I think it's proven, right? I think if you see how quickly these new products and this plant-based products are being picked up by consumers, that from the moment that the acceptance rate went on or improved and the affordability was better, that is obviously proving the opportunity.
And how are you going to communicate with the consumer? How are you going to show the products and the new things that you're making?
I think that food manufacturers are perfectly equipped to market these products to their consumer base. They're doing it now, right? So via the traditional media, via commercials, via adverts, but also via cooking shows. But I think there's much more explanation to do about the benefits of plant-based proteins versus meat proteins, because that's the cultural change that you need to go through, right? And I think we have an obligation as a complete chain to do that. That starts with education, that starts at schools, that starts in the media, that starts with every opportunity that we'll have. Not neglecting meat, because I don't think that meat will disappear, and it shouldn't disappear. I think there should be a fine balance, right? But there's obviously, that's what we need to explain.
Okay, and
I'll just
yeah,
underscore the importance of taste. I think the way you speak to the consumer is through their taste buds. So that's really what's driving the increased uptake of plant-based proteins that we've seen lately, is this interest from people who really consider themselves to be true omnivores or flexitarians and won't sacrifice on taste, but are looking at these new options with fresh eyes because of the increase in quality and flavor.
Yeah. Okay. And do you also see some problems? Liz?
The biggest challenge I see is the ability of the plant-based industry to scale as quickly as demand is scaling. That's where we've seen the bottlenecks at present, is that there's not enough manufacturing capacity out there, and frankly, not a lot of innovation yet around manufacturing techniques and processes. So that currently is a limitation for companies being able to grow as quickly as the market would dictate.
Okay.
I agree with Liz. That is the main challenge, and there are new proteins under development, but they're not at scale yet. Not at the scale, for example, as the traditional soy products and now the upcoming pea products. It's not there yet, but that is obviously what the future should bring to us, and we have to make sure that we use the time in between as efficient as possible to immediately come with good formulated, well formulated products based on the new proteins that are under development at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to add something to react to this?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I can add is I absolutely agree with what Liz and Jos have said, that we're speaking to consumers with the taste of these products, and that the improvements that we're making there is probably part of the reason why we're seeing the acceleration in uptake. I do want to say I still think that that we're not there yet. The products that are available to us are not perfect. Both in the sort of sustainability credentials, you know, we're processing them, we're using a lot of energy to extract highly refined proteins, and that's the basis for a lot of the plant-based foods that exist today. And I think we need to continue to invest to keep making them better, also in that regard, to make them healthier, to make them more sustainable, cleaner labels, you know, to appeal to a broader range of consumers.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Liz and Jos.
You're welcome.
Okay, we've just spoken with Liz and Jos, and now we're going to speak with Marcel and with Klaas-Jan. Marcel, could you please introduce yourself and your company?
Yes, of course. Marcel van der Vaart speaking. I'm the Business Development Manager Protein for Kozen. And Kozen is a corporation of around 9,000 farmers in the Netherlands. And we grow a lot of crops, for example, sugar beets, potatoes, chicory, and lots of fruit. And we are extremely active in making ingredients out of those crops and end products. Also, and already for decades, we work hard on valorizing all the side streams. And now with a special attention to also valorizing proteins from side streams. And I think that's why this challenge is extremely relevant for us.
Thank you. Klaas-Jan?
Hello, good day. My name is Klaas-Jan Zuidam. I'm a lead scientist plant protein at Unilever R&D in Wageningen. Unilever is one of the biggest food companies in the world. You may know our brands. Last decade I have led the research on soy beverages, soybean extraction for our brand at that time in Latin America. My team has developed vegan ice creams technologies, like the technology behind the vegan Magnum, the non-dairy Ben & Jerry's. And lately I'm leading a research project in the area of meat analog structuring. So happy to be here.
Thank you for introducing yourselves. And now we're going to show you a video of our experts because we've asked them a statement about the future of our food, how our plates will look like in the future. Let's have a look.
I believe that the future of the protein transition will be with more resources and more sustainable resources of protein for food and non-food applications. The reason why it is important that this takes place is that the way we produce at the moment proteins is not necessarily the most efficient way. So while animals produce high quality proteins, there are other resources that can produce in the future equal quality, but in a more sustainable way, thus using less resources. I think also that in the future the protein transition will imply use of many different resources, plants, animal, microbial, etc.
I think it's important because if we keep consuming meat or food in general as we do now, we will not be able to do that for the rest of the world in the coming years. So I think we have two choices. Either we all start to consume less so that we kind of solve the food problem in this way. But if we want to keep our lifestyle the way that we do, I don't think that we have any other choice in really going more towards a plant-based diet and that we basically then need the protein transition in order to keep living the way we do.
Elke and Louisa from the Wageningen University, and they think that if we want to still eat animal proteins, that we have to eat less in the future. And also that if we want to eat proteins, that we have to diversify our diet. How do you think about it, Klaas-Jan?
Yeah, I think we agree with that. We believe it needs to be more in balance, so more plant proteins, more plant ingredients and less animal-derived ingredients. Lately we have also invested a lot in this area. So we have a new building in the R&D Innovation Center in Wageningen at the campus of the university. We invested as Unilever 85 million euros in this. And so we really believe that this is the future. It's a big challenge, of course, to provide enough proteins for the 9 billion people in the world. But yeah, we fully agree with this. Yeah.
And Marcel?
Yes, we also fully agree with this, and actually we're also very active with that. And maybe it's nice to give an example here. One of our crops is the sugar beet, where for I think 120 years we are already extracting sugar from. But we also do a lot with the side stream, so we make things like fibers, fertilizers, biogas for our trucks to drive on. But we also found out that actually the leaves that are being cut off the sugar beet that normally remain on the land, there's still a lot of protein in them. And to be a bit more precise, you can get as much protein from as you get from a hectare of soy. And we have now set up a project where we are isolating those proteins with also very special characteristics from those leaves. And we are doing this, of course, from our own side stream, our sugar beet leaves. But if you think about all the green leaves that are around us on the planet, this could be one of the most abundant protein sources that there is on this world. So we're very active in making this happen. And this could be a great source, besides, of course, all the other plant sources that we have and all the alternatives that are being developed in microorganisms and what you got. So we're we very much agree with that.
Okay. And Klaas-Jan, why do you find it so important, this transition?
It's important because I think plant proteins are much more sustainable, and that is needed for the planet. We have to meet certain sustainable development goals, as also said by the United Nations. Unilever have committed to halve the greenhouse gas per consumer use of our products across the whole life cycle by 2030. And we believe that plant proteins can play a role there by replacing, for instance, milk proteins by plant proteins in our non-dairy ice creams like vegan Magnum, Cornetto Veggie. And that's a big challenge. It's not as easy as it sounds. And we also announced lately that we want to have global sales target for around 1 billion euros in 5 or 7 years. So we really go for it. We think it's very important.
Okay.
And we cannot do it alone, we have to do it again. Yeah.
But normally when you take something out of a product, for example, you make it lower fat, then you have to add something else, no?
That is true, because consumers don't want to compromise on taste. And so that's a big challenge to make sure that products are as tasty as they are used to. So it sounds very easy to, for instance, to replace milk proteins by plant proteins. My team has done that for instance, vegan Magnum and the non-dairy Ben & Jerry's. But it took us several years to do the reformulation. And if you now try this, you will not hardly see any difference or taste any difference between the vegan Magnum and the dairy equivalent. So that was very successful, but it took us a couple of years. You need to completely reformulate it.
Okay, so we have to try it. And Marcel, how important do you find the transition to proteins?
Yeah, I think that the transition to the plant protein is extremely relevant. I think the one is, of course, the planet, the climate change that we need to stop, but like Jan was also telling about. I think also the whole element of animal welfare, yeah, I think that's a really important item. And also there's lots of evidence that it also can have a huge positive impact on your personal health, to have more plant-based diet. So there's many reasons to go there. And I think also from a coaching point of view, I think the question is also, can we sort of allow us not to do this? I think we must do it because we have this access to the crops. We are really technological driven, so we can make this, and we have a long history of also doing these type of things. And we must enter this. And we're not, I just told you about the proteins from the beef, but we're going much broader. We're building a whole portfolio of plant proteins, and this is really sort of for us a new business for the future, where we really want to be part of. We really want to be part of the protein transition.
And how do you think about the nutrients that you're missing normally? Because when you have animal proteins, there you've got more or different nutrients than you have in plant proteins. How are you going to solve that problem?
Yeah, there's of course one important element. It's the vitamin B12, and there's another element of iron where you have to be. You see that the current products on the market, the end products, and certainly Unilever is also doing that. Often these components are added to the product. And there's also sort of alternative protein solutions, and especially in the area of fermentation, where these components are also produced while you are producing the protein. So there's more than only plants. So I think there's lots of opportunity to solve these items, and we shouldn't see that as a huge problem. It's something we just need to take care of, and we need to make sure that we get enough of those nutrients in our diet.
Okay. Do you think that as well?
Yeah, I agree. Actually, the healthiest diet that we know of is a balanced diet, and I think the point is that our diet now has gotten a little bit out of balance. We don't have the ratio of plants and animal consumption that we'd like to have. We're collectively not eating our fruits and vegetables still, unfortunately. We should be eating more whole grains and we should be eating more legumes, and bringing that back in balance will be beneficial for our health. And for the vast majority of people who don't choose to become vegan but choose to just make a small shift toward more plant-based than they're currently eating, those kind of nutrient deficiencies are absolutely not going to be a problem in the rebalancing.
Okay, so you think that we also will still be needing animal proteins as well?
I think for the vast majority of consumers, we see that they're choosing to do this, to see this as a kind of rebalancing, to eat a little bit more flexitarian rather than to go all the way to eating a vegan diet. And there's an argument to be made that animals are an important part of the most sustainable system because we can feed animals things that we as humans can't eat.
Mm-hmm.
So we do need a certain amount of animals in our food system to keep the whole thing sort of running and to use all of the resources that we have. I think it's just about rebalancing, and that's what I hear from Marcel and Klaas-Jan as well. I think that's a sort of shared goal.
Okay. Thank you very much, Marcel and Klaas-Jan, for your time. And see you in the next episode.
Okay. Bye.
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 Stacey, let's talk a little bit more about the animals, because could there be a role for animals in the protein transition as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a really important point. So I think it's great that you raise it. We've been talking about keeping our diets in balance, and that means, we don't have to go to one extreme or the other. But there's also, when we look at it from the lens of sustainability and what is the most sustainable possible system, there's also a role for animals there. If you think about all of our resources, there are a number of things that humans can eat directly, like soybeans that are currently being fed to animals. And it's not efficient to feed those to animals when we could be eating them directly as humans. But there are other things that we as humans can't or don't yet eat ourselves and think about grass, for example. It would be very unhandy if we couldn't use our grassland anymore for any kind of food production, and cows are a perfect way to use grassland to produce something that we do find delicious and we actually consider a very nutritious part of our food portfolio. So it's important to keep telling each other that animals are important, they will play a role. They can eat the things that we can't eat, and if we didn't have animals, we would have to throw all of that away, and that would really be a pity, and that would be an unsustainable system in total.
And Stacey, don't you think we need animal proteins?
Well, strictly speaking, from a nutritional point of view, we don't need animal proteins per se. The reason we need to consume protein is there are 9 essential amino acids that we need to have in our diets. We humans can't make them, so we need to eat them. And if you look at animal source proteins, most of them tend to provide all of those amino acids, which is why we tend to refer to them as complete proteins. If you look at the plant proteins, it's true that some of the plant proteins are lower in one or more amino acids. We call them deficient in those particular amino acids. But as long as we consume a balanced diet, that's actually not a problem. If we look at the category of legumes like peas, we see that they can be deficient in 1 or 2 amino acids, but those same amino acids are over present in grains, in whole wheat bread, for example. So as long as you're not only eating peas in your diet, but you're having peas somewhere in the day and you're having bread somewhere else in the day, you can get a complete balanced protein nutrition only from plant sources. So we don't strictly need animal proteins. It's possible, and it's a choice that everyone can make for themselves.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to the most, I'm very nervous because we're going to the part that we're going to kick off this challenge, because we're going to kick off this challenge, the Rethink Protein Challenge of 2021, and you have the honor to open it.
Wow, thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So, good luck everyone with this challenge, and thank you very much, Stacey, for being here today with me. It was an honor to have you.
My pleasure.
And I hope to see you in the next episode.